Menstruation is a natural part of life, but then in some cultures it is still a taboo. That is why we want to break the silence surrounding menstruation such that individuals are allowed to experience the menstrual period. Together we're going to create a period-friendly world to let everyone out there be free enough to experience their menstruation with dignity and confidence. Good evening, dear TV friends of Divine Mercy Radio Television, and thanks for joining us on another edition of Women's Voice. Remember, we just commemorated the Menstrual Hygiene Day for 2025 with the theme Together for a Period-Friendly World, and today we are on set to try to break some of those stigmas surrounding menstruation, and of course to look at how we could create a period-friendly world for our young girls and women out there who go through a lot of depression, a lot of stress throughout their menstrual period. That's why we came together with our panelists. Of course, we have advocates and volunteers with when it comes to menstrual hygiene who struggle in their own way, rendering their own services, human service, to associations, to organizations, to foundations, to see that women in the rural areas, in the suburbs, get to access menstruation or menstrual health or menstrual hygiene facilities. Today in the studio we have two very brilliant ladies who are joining us on our discussion today. We have Tengere Samsiatu, who is a master's student from the Department of Women and Gender Studies and also a volunteer at Cindy Bless Foundation. Greetings to you, Samsiatu, and thanks for joining us today.
Greetings, Mrs. Thank you.
Okay, it's a pleasure to have you. We also have with us here Shalom Bright Masoma, who is also a volunteer and an advocate for menstrual hygiene. Good evening to you, Shalom.
Greetings, ma'am.
Thank you for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, today we want to look at some of the ways in which we could break the stigma surrounding menstrual hygiene. Whatever surrounds menstrual hygiene, what is it that women go through on a daily, on a monthly, because that's something that comes once or for some people twice a month. What is that stigma surrounding menstrual hygiene? What is the difficulty that women go through whenever they have to see their period, whenever they are on their menstruation period? So we're going to begin straight away with Shalom Bright. She's going to maybe define for us, when we talk of menstruation, Shalom Bright, what exactly are we talking about?
So basically, menstruation is just a period in a woman's life where the uterine lines break down. During this particular period, after the ovulation process, where the ovules are found on the ovule waiting for sperms, if there's no fertilization, there's a shutdown and the uterine lines break down, causing the blood to flow through a woman's vagina. During this period, it is expected for women to go through various hormonal changes, which causes the body changes. It might be an increase in temperature, and for some, they have mild cramps, some have worse cramps, and this is as a result of the things that we consume during this period of our menstruation. So that's basically what menstruation is about.
Okay, thank you very much for bringing out that insight to some of our ladies out there. We know we have young girls out there who might be watching and they have not started menstruating, and they might be wondering, because there's a lot of limitation when it comes to this particular discussion. They might be wondering what exactly menstruation is. Hope what Shalom Bright said is going to help you out there. And coming now to menstrual hygiene, when we talk of menstrual hygiene, some people are wondering, what does it mean? I know that when I menstruate, thereafter 4 or within a span of maybe 3 to 7 days or so for some people, and then thereafter I'm okay. So Semsiatu, when we talk of menstrual hygiene, what exactly are we talking about?
Okay, thank you. Menstrual hygiene is just these are just the practices, habits that helps us ladies manage our menstruation. These practices include washing your hands before and after using pads, the use of pads, the use of original and clean pads, and then the processes you go through to like ensure a safe menstruation and a healthy one.
Okay, thank you very much. And when we want to look at, as our topic rightly says, breaking the stigma around menstruation, we know in some cultures, menstruation topics, talking about menstruation is still a taboo. When women are menstruating, they're not allowed to maybe move around anyhow. So, how can we break stigmas and taboos surrounding menstruation in our communities?
Okay. I think we to break these stigmas, we have to do more of awareness campaign. Like for example, what we are doing since Bless, we go to communities in the interiors to educate women, not only women, to educate young boys as well. You know, part of the people who are always prompted to stigmatize women who are menstruating are men, and to also make them understand that menstruation is not just a woman's thing, it is also a man's thing. Because if you cannot assist a woman, or if you cannot support her, she's going through a lot, and she might not be safe, she might not be confident of what is happening to her. Meanwhile, she has to be confident, she has to know that menstruation is biological and it is very natural for her. So to break the stigma, we need to go to men, we need to go to mothers as well, so they should educate their children. They should tell them what menstruation is all about and how they should go about it, and also the community at large.
Okay, thank you very much. And to you, Shalom Bright, maybe you want to add something on how we could break the stigma around menstrual hygiene.
Yeah, basically about stigma, that's one of the reasons why we are here, to break the stigma, because we have to open discussions concerning the menstrual cycle and the woman's body in order to create awareness for people to know that the menstrual period is not just for the woman, like she said, it's for the entire community. For example, taking situations where a girl gets stained in class or in an environment, most of the people behind laugh at her with the ignorance of them not knowing that in that particular situation, if you have a sweater, you cover her up. It's something natural. For example, when we sweat in our armpits, we are not afraid of it. So when you get stained, it's a natural process that we have to all embrace and look forward to making the woman feel comfortable while on her period.
Thank you very much. And also that there's a stigma around being stained. Most people think that being stained, or those that are supposed to be stained, are children. We all have to acknowledge that no matter your age, getting stained is a normal phenomenon with women. You might have hormonal changes at a particular time and you tend to flow more. Obviously, you're going to get stained if maybe your pad is not well placed or if your pad is already soaked. So getting stained is a normal phenomenon that we should break. Those are one of the barriers or stigmas around menstruation. You see even your fellow woman laughing at you when you're stained. I'm surprised. What's happening? How can you, where is the woman to woman? Where is the girl code, support woman code? If you see someone, even men out there, you see a woman getting stained or a woman stained and moving ignorantly, I think the first thing you should do is to cover her up before even moving her to the side and letting her know that that is what is happening to her. It's very, very important that we pay attention to these things, because we are just trying to break the stigma. And if we are breaking the stigma, it's because you are out there watching and you are willing to help us break the stigma. We know associations, organizations cannot do all of it, but then we also want to talk about parents. You mentioned parents should be friendly, period friendly. Should also be talking more to parents. How can we should I say inform or educate parents or sensitize them on having open discussions with their children? Women, especially girls, especially, you see girls, or maybe some girls start menstruating as early as 8-9 years old. They are still very small. How do they approach their parents? What is the mechanism parents are putting in place to ensure that it is a very comfortable discussion to talk about with your child about your menstruation? What can you tell parents out there as encouragement or sensitization?
Okay, thank you. Like I earlier said, we go to communities to educate parents, especially mothers. You know, back then when you tell your mother you're menstruating, she'll be like, don't, yeah, man, don't do this. But she will not really tell you what you have to do. Yes, when you're menstruating, she will not give you that full confidence that know that you're a woman, you can give birth. That is a sign to show you that you can give life. So be very confident about it. Be very, very proud of it. And then you should know it is a biological and a natural thing. It is not bad. So we advise women to always take time to educate their children, build that self-confidence in their children, such that, for example, if I'm staying and somebody just mocks at me, I cannot like be traumatized or feel bad about it. I'll instead turn and like try to like question you. But there are other children that will be traumatized because they don't know what is going through them. They are not proud of what is happening to them. They don't know the importance of what is happening to them. So parents should play a greater, and even fathers, because when we say parents, it does not only concern mothers, it's also for fathers. For example, I myself, when I used to go to my father especially, I tell him about my menstruation. He will encourage me and be like, I know it gives you a menstrual cramp, and then sometimes when my mother would tell me to do a hard work, he would tell my mother not to even stress me. It is something that pains a lot. So even parents can play a very great role to like build a confidence in women when they are menstruating.
Okay, I also want to look at a scenario where a child starts menstruating, maybe ignorantly or whatever. She does not even know how to wear a pad. So you as volunteers, when you go out to the communities, do you tell these children, do you teach them, these mothers, or you teach the mothers to teach their children, because there are some women that don't use sanitary pads. So do you educate them on how they can assist their children, how they are supposed to wear a pad, and the activities that are supposed to carry on throughout that period, the sanitary conditions around their menstruation? How do you educate these children or these women out there about their hygienic conditions surrounding menstruation?
So recently, we had a 3-day project at the Dr. Biaka Memorial Foundation. That's on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. On Monday, we had the opportunity to visit the Bokwai community, where we had not just young girls, we had fathers, we had mothers, grandmothers, where we were able to illustrate to these children on how to put on the pads. I was opportunity to be the person illustrating. And during the period of illustration, I realized that most young girls even put on their pads wrongly, and that's what causes the stains. So after that period of illustration, we had a 12-year-old asking us questions like, so this is how you do it, because she was not aware. So while the parents are present at that particular moment, they'll have the idea on how to educate the young ones. On Tuesday, we visited an Islamic school at my 16, and there were young girls too, ranging from 10, 12, and some of them were not also aware. So when those illustrations are being made, they will see and they'll be able to like communicate to their peers who are not present. And it's very important for parents to also talk to their children. I, for one, when I had my first period, I was with my dad because my mom was not around at the moment. If my dad had no experience concerning that, I would have been surprised. Like, I would have not known what to do. But immediately I got home, I was like, Daddy, something came out down there today in school. Oh. He started laughing. He was like, no, don't be scared, because I was really panicking. He was like, no, don't be scared. It's natural. You're now a woman. I'm very happy. You have to thank God, because at least now, you're capable of bearing your own child someday. Because without periods, we'll not be able to give birth to children as women. So he had the idea. He was able to teach me. And it made me confident about myself that no, I have to be proud being a lady. So when our parents are aware, it's going to make the environment very conducive for us as young girls.
Okay, thank you so much for that contribution. And I want to look at the role education plays in promoting menstrual hygiene. How can education be incorporated in promoting menstrual hygiene? Because I think very few schools incorporate menstruation or menstrual hygiene as maybe even a topic to talk about. Parents, teachers, they scare away from this particular topic, reasons best known to them, but it is an opportunity to just let yourself out. Children also, or pupils, students also learn from your personal experiences. Once you're able to just let it all out and share your experiences with these pupils or students, it's going to help them open up to you. Some of them have very, very traumatic experiences surrounding their menstruation. Some people don't even have access to sanitary pads. These things that we talk about every day. There are some children till date, they cannot afford a pad, that is sanitary pad, whenever they are menstruating. So imagine you are supposed to use it 12 times a year. You can imagine how disastrous it is for some of these children. They tend to get a lot of infections because maybe either they tend to stay longer with a single pad throughout the day, or they are using other alternatives which are not very, very hygienically clean. So what role can education play in promoting menstrual hygiene?
Okay, I think schools or educational institutions should, educate young ladies, their students. They should educate them on how to to like manage menstruation. And apart from that, they should also make available menstruation kits like pads,
Yes.
because in some schools when when a lady gets stain, it is not easy for her to get a pad.
get a pad.
Meanwhile, if it was available in school, she would just head to maybe the discipline mistress, or to the person in charge. Maybe in the university they should put somebody in charge for it. So then she should like go there, take a part, and then change herself. So I think school should like make a great improvement concerning that, and they should also educate children without like feeling as if they were doing something bad, because some lecturers feel like if they like, or some teachers feel like if they say it to children, it will be like, I don't know, it's a taboo, but I don't understand what's the taboo there. Because for me it's very
They're not very
natural.
vocal about
They
it.
should tell the children, like they should not be scared of telling them. Yeah.
That's one thing. Lecturers, teachers, parents, guardians, even not lay people, strangers, should be able to talk about freely. Many people do not talk about menstrual hygiene freely, and it's something very, very important to the human body, women especially, because we are prone to a lot of infections once we are menstruating. Once you do not take care of yourself at that moment, you are prone to a lot of things that are very disastrous to your health. So I think those are one of the moments where women are called upon to be very, very careful and keep themselves very, very clean. So Shalom Bright, well, how can the educational system incorporate menstrual hygiene to help women and girls out there?
So, like when I was in Form 1, I attended a secondary school in Kumba. And during the first term, we actually did a little bit of this reproductive system. And when they got to menstruation, they just like brushed through it. They did not say anything about it. So when I was getting to Form 4, I was like, these are the things that we have to incorporate in our syllabus, because like biology talks about the body, so why don't we incorporate the menstrual cycle in it? Because if you incorporate it while in the study syllabus, it's going to educate not just the girls but the boys, because we have a mixed sex school. So teaching that in classrooms is going to teach both the girls and the boys, and it's going to reduce a lot of stigma when it comes to the menstrual cycle.
Okay, thank you very much. And just to also add to that, incorporating menstrual hygiene to the syllabus or whatever it's going on in schools is going to also help even the teachers themselves. It's going to make them more should I say, they want to do more research to find out about things that are going to be friendly, period friendly. You want to talk of period friendly, like we're talking about menstruation this year, education wise, things that are going to be normal things that when you say to maybe a class 6 pupil, because some people are menstruating from primary school, that's a fact. And then just imagine you live in primary school and you don't even know what menstruation is. How do you take care of yourself? How do you know that you're supposed to change your pad maybe at most maybe a time frame of maybe between 3 to 6 hours, depending on how you flow? How do you understand these things when you don't even receive that education in school, you do not receive it in the house, and around your friends you feel stigmatized because you're not vocal enough to talk about these things with your friends? So how do you manage all of this? It's very, very important. I think there was one time I met a little girl. She got stained. I think she was in Form 1. She was, I think, 9 years old, and she was crying. She was very confused with her friends. She did not know what to do. And also felt very bad because all of them were in the same class and all of them did not know what to do. They were all confused. And you are by a health center. Why don't you rush there? They say no, they are afraid. They do not even know what was happening. So how do they even start handling the situation? It means it had never been mentioned to them. There was nothing about menstruation ever mentioned to that child till she got to Form 1. She did not even know what it is. So that's a very bad thing on the part of the parents. Always just make out time to talk to your children about these things. Boys, girls, you can educate a boy on how to assist a girl once you see her, maybe she's stained or she's stigmatized. Just an encouraging word to that girl is going to help a long way. So parents, guardians, elder sisters, elder brothers out there, let's take these things very, very important. You can also do research on menstrual hygiene and educate your younger ones. There are some people that they are not aware aware of anything, and even when they get infections, they do not even know what is happening. So you could also do research, attend seminars, and try to educate your younger ones you find in your communities. You want to look at some of you were already mentioning some of those things that you did, but before we move on, we've been joined on set by one of our other advocates or volunteers, and I'm sure it's a Pamba Betila. She's a volunteer and a menstrual hygiene advocate. Thank you for joining us on set.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, everyone. I am Aye Betila, a volunteer with the Dr. Biaka Memorial Foundation, and for the past 2 days we have been.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on set with us. Before you came in, we have been talking about a lot of things. We have gone through what menstruation is, menstrual hygiene, and all of that. But now we want to look at some of the things you as volunteers do, advocates for menstruation. What is it that you people have been doing as an individual? What is it that you think you can do, or volunteering with any organization to assist people who are not aware, to create awareness about menstrual hygiene?
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. As a volunteer, we know it's important for every woman. The dignity of every woman is very important in the community. And for many women are silent because they feel ashamed when they're on their period due to the stigma we all, even ladies too, encourage this stigma. So as a volunteer, we do outreach, we talk to people, we educate them, make them feel comfortable about sharing information with us about menstruation. We do a friendly program where we also share sanitary pads, hygiene kits, not only to the women, but only to little children who are yet to experience this menstruation.
Okay, thank you very much. And just you said, like, to girls, young girls who are yet to experience menstruation, it's also very important. I say maybe from 8 years old, I think the young girls should really start getting this orientation about what menstruation is, because you don't know when it's going to happen to you. So, Semsia, maybe you have something different to add to what she said about innovations you do as volunteers or advocates of menstrual hygiene.
Not great things, she has said majority of the things, but I also advise ladies to, like I always say, ladies should also work with parts, not only for your personal use. You can work with parts, and then suddenly you see somebody is thin, you just help her with the parts. Even men, if possible. Yeah, if possible, men should also do that. Yeah. And then men should also assist women during this period. If you're working and you find a lady who just got stained, you can just help her. If you have a pullover, you just cover her up, and then you help her. And then I always tell ladies to always work, even if you're a Muslim or not, you should also work with mufflers.
Yeah, sure, that's right.
Especially when you're closer to your period, such that if you get stains somewhere, especially if you are wearing white, just take your muffler quietly or a pullover, if preferable. You carry your muffler or your pullover along. When you get stains somewhere, you just cover your body to avoid. So I'm not saying I'm encouraging stigma,
of course,
but just to avoid all those things, you just you just move along with it.
And just to add to what you said, I think every woman should move around with pad. It's very, very important. Be it on your menstruation or not, just always carry pad around. It might not help you. There are times that you get so tense and stressed, and then your menstruation comes before the time it's due. So women should really be on their guard on that. You should have a shawl on your back. It's also very important. You could just do it without anyone knowing, and then you're free from the stigma that is surrounding it. We know we cannot stop the stigma. We can only reduce the stigma with the help of every woman, every man out there who supports menstrual hygiene. And still looking about innovative actions of volunteers, advocates, organizations. How do you people, or how do you as a volunteer or as an advocate advise women to take care of their part? That's a part of menstrual hygiene, I think. When they are done with their part, how do they dispose of it? Because if you move around lately, you are going to see it's very disturbing to move around and see a part on the road, you see blood. We knew, I think back then, my grandmother always tell you that your blood is very sacred. No one around you is supposed to see your blood. It's just supposed to be between you and the pad. But then, just aside from the fact that women get stained every now and then, you still see you might move around and you find a pad lying on the road, on the main road, on the highway. And how do you tell these people, these women, these girls to dispose of these sanitary pads?
So I think disposal of pads is a very vital issue when it comes to the menstruation period. For example, most people believe that when you use your pad, you dispose in a pit toilet. But mind you, the pad takes about 500 years for it to completely decay. So if you just tie it up in a nylon and throw, might be anywhere around you, it's going to be there for a while. And when the dogs, the goats start taking it around, it's going to spread. You don't know where it's going to get to.
That's right.
And in a point in time, you hear this woman is burning. Some of those things are because of the way we dispose our parts. So I must advise young girls or ladies to usually burn their parts after the periods. After maybe 3 to 5 days of your menstrual cycle, you gather it up and put it somewhere and burn, because with burning you ensure that what you have used is completely disposed. So I always advise burning compared to the others, because putting in the flushing toilet, some girls still do that. Like recently I had a guest in my house, and by the time she left, my toilet was full. I was like, oh, no. I've not used my toilet like this, that's going to be full. So what's going on? Only for me to realize that she was on a period while she was around, and she disposed it. She did not have the idea, maybe from where she is, she didn't know that if you put in a flushing toilet, it's going to block it. So creating this awareness helps the ladies to know that this is the right method of disposal and this is the wrong method of disposal. So I encourage us to talk about the disposal methods more, because it's going to create a period-friendly world.
Thank you very much. And maybe you have something to add.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Like she said, part takes some time. It takes a long period of time to completely decay. So our outreach, we actually shared parts, but I know many of them will be asking, after this part, where do we get some?
Exactly.
After how do we afford another one? So I think I'll advise young girls, even women, reusable part is preferable, because with reusable part you can either wash or you can burn. Like she said, you can burn, even though this burning also causes environmental effects, but reusable part is preferable for ladies. That's my stand.
Okay, thank you very much. And Sam Seattle, maybe you have something to add on how they can dispose of their parts.
Okay, as what she earlier said, I think if you want to use the flushing toilet and dispose your part, there's always a way. I always like tell people to do that. I think the reason why parts takes time to decay completely is because of the plastics around. So it is your menstruation. If you want to dispose it like that, just discreetly, I think you can just remove the plastic at the beginning of the part and the end. Then the cotton part, you just flush it. And then the world is really, really wicked nowadays. As she earlier said, there are people now who uses part to do bad things. For example, scammers. We have been hearing it now.
I think that's just an assumption made.
We have been hearing it lately. We have even seen situation where they have to catch a particular man moving with part. What is he doing with part inside his bag? Like, for example, I saw it live, and then I was like, if my fellow sisters could see it, what is a scam? What is a man doing with parts inside his bag, if not for an evil purpose? What is he doing with parts? So we should be very careful the way we dispose our parts, so we don't have issues. Even if it is an assumption, let's just be very careful. It is very, very rampant, especially these days. So let's be careful and let's avoid all those things.
Thank you very much. We hope our mothers and young girls out there are paying very keen attention to all we are saying. Parents, please, you have the obligation, the responsibility to follow up your children during their menstruation. There's no child that is too big. You could always come in as an advisor to that child. There is no age too big to be advised or to be talked to about menstruation, menstrual hygiene. We can all have 1 or 2 lapses here and there, but then it's very important to take into consideration the sanitary your sanitary environment whenever you're menstruating. We also have on set another very strong and vibrant lady in the house. That's the founder of Norba Cameroon, whose this foundation is out to support vulnerable children, girls, women, boys, and those living with disability. That's no other person than Ambes Ernestine. Greetings and welcome on set.
Thank you very much. It's always been a pleasure to be here, and good evening to all our panelists. You all look so beautiful and amazing.
You too. And before you came on set, we have deliberated on a lot of issues. We're just talking surrounding menstrual hygiene. We have gone through a lot of questions on how we could manage menstrual hygiene, disposal methods. What exactly is menstrual hygiene when we talk of menstrual hygiene? What exactly are we talking about? And I also want to ask you, looking at the distribution of pads here and there, we all agree that some people cannot afford these sanitary pads every month. So when these things are being distributed once during this period, what is the means in which you advise these girls out there to dispose of their part, to take care of themselves? What is that thing that every woman or girl out there should do surrounding her menstrual hygiene period?
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'll just want to talk a little bit about sustainability of the menstrual hygiene part we're giving to girls out there, even as NGOs, as associations, and even individuals, humanitarian organizations. I want to say it's not just all about giving out sanitary towels to our ladies out there, those are in need. It's there's what we are aiming at having, which is sustainability. So in as much as we distribute menstrual hygiene kits to women and girls, we also have to teach them how to do it locally, because I believe that one is really it's even more hygienic than the sanitary towels we use, which have chemicals in it. So there is this local traditional way our parents, our mothers back then used to teach us how to, for those of us who had the opportunity, teach us how to use our menstrual hygiene parts. For example, you don't need to spend much to have one. We have cotton towels that are normally, we use it to wipe our body with it. Yes, that's fine, but we can still use it as reusable sanitary towels. It's easy to clean, it's easy to wash, it's easy to protect, and it's healthier also. We're talking about disposing sanitary towels. Like I think we mentioned that on the session we had last week. There's a better way to do it that doesn't pollute the environment. At the end of the day, as I heard one of our panelists talking about scammers going about picking those used sanitary towels for whatever, God knows what they want to do with it. There is a better way to do it. Like for those who have the sanitary towels that are the ones which have chemicals, which we know, you can just when you go to the bathroom, it's always good to have plastics in your bag. When you go to a bathroom somewhere, especially when they say you don't have to flush your part in a toilet, now you have to tear from the side. You tear from this angle, your right angle you tear, you tear the left angle, and then you will remove the cotton that is inside and now pour it inside the flushing toilet, and then with the plastic on it you can just rinse a little bit so that you don't put it, because the mistake we make most times is that we usually carry even the plastic with the blood in it and put in our bags, which is still not healthy. So once you do that, you can just wash the part and the plastic, and then you can tie it now in another wrapper and put it in your bag. I think that's one of the ways which we can actually preserve it, even for our health, even our handbags, where we carry biscuits and chewing gums and
Thank you very much, Ernestine. And we hope the girls out there are listening, their moms are listening. In case you're watching and your child is not around, you remember to always give her some of these tips. Don't get lazy during your period. It's just a period of 4 to 7 days for some people, 4 for some people, 7 for some people, where you just have to dedicate time and take care of yourself, because the less time you spend taking care of yourself, the more infections you're going to get. Some people say it's very nasty to touch blood and all of that. The blood is from your system, so you should take care of it to avoid prolonged problems or problems in the long run. And we're also talking, when we talk menstrual hygiene, we don't want to limit it just to women, is girls, is women. What are men and are boys doing? So what are, or how can men and boys be allies in promoting menstrual hygiene and breaking down some of these stigmas?
Thank you, ma'am, for this opportunity. Firstly, when a girl misses school every month because of her period, it's not just her education at risk. It's our future at risk. So talking to women about menstruation is one of the UN goals. Lately, the Dr. Biaka Memorial Foundation has visited communities and schools where we gave menstrual health education to our young girls, and boys were equally involved in this outreach. And from what I saw, the ladies felt more comfortable listening to boys talk to them about this issue. So they felt safe that so men know about this. So they were able to interact, and it was something very interactive. And with the smiles and gratitude we got from them, the Dr. Biaka Memorial Foundation is deeply happy that we could get to some people who are really in need.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to take on this short break to catch our breath, and when we come back, we're going to continue with more on the program. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're on to Women's Voice on Divine Mercy Radio Television, and today we are looking at menstrual hygiene, and we want to break the stigma surrounding menstrual hygiene and to create or promote a period-friendly world. And we're going to move on to the question we had before our break: how can men and boys be incorporated in the menstrual hygiene campaign, or in the menstrual hygiene struggle, in order to break stigma? I think I watched a video a few days back on YouTube talking. I'm in a school around Africa where boys, we actually had a man teaching boys about menstrual hygiene. A man was actually talking to a class full of boys, and they felt very comfortable. Some of them felt bad at the beginning because they have sisters who have been through very traumatic experiences surrounding menstruation. Some of them have been stigmatized such that they do not move out of the house once they are menstruating. It means when you are menstruating, you stay indoors. There is no going out for you. And for some people, it's very difficult for them to even, like we said, afford this sanitary pad. So how can we encourage the boys? You know, some girls also go through some very difficult moments during their menstruation, pain. Some of them are very sick, vomiting. I think back in school, I had a senior friend who she'll always be in the dormitory when she's menstruating because she has to vomit. Yeah, she has to roll on the floor. She's so restless, and it was a lot of pain for her. But then if she's doing that out of the school surroundings, around boys, how can boys support women during their menstrual period or in the menstrual campaign struggle?
I still want to go back to our mothers, because they say charity begins at home.
Of course.
Before these boys and girls go to school, they were giving birth to, and they belong to a family. So I think the mothers can get involved, like training their boy child. Okay, your sister is menstruating, it's normal. You know, when you see how she gets stains, this is what you should do.
Yeah.
And why not the fathers? And I really encourage fathers to do these talks to their female children. Sometimes it really gets them involved. Because if a father talks to, we realize that most of the times in families, the female children are always very attached to their dad and the male to their mom. So if the father takes that responsibility of like, my daughter is attached to me, let me talk to her about this,
Let me take this challenge.
and the mother now takes the opportunity of the other hand. My son is more attached to me, so let me talk to my son about menstrual hygiene, such that when they get to school, it becomes very easy. And even if they get married, it's easy for them to manage. Now I had a man saying, the worst time in my home is when my wife is menstruating. I don't just like it. Everything, even the food she prepares, I feel bad eating it. But if he had this sensitization right from the family about menstrual hygiene, it's normal, it's a human right, like every other thing, like, you know, I think it will go a long way. And also in schools, the school curricula should include menstrual hygiene sensitizations. And also the school clubs, there can be a club that is created specifically for this. And even having those clubs, we need to also have teachers that are well trained in this aspect, because you can have all the information, but how you give it out matters. Are you giving it in a way that brings dignity and honor to these people, or you're giving it in a way that makes them feel judged and condemned? So with regards to this, however, the mother, the father, the boys, the girls themselves, the community at large, the teachers, and in fact, everyone is involved in this particular activity.
Thank you very much. And Shalom Bright?
So I feel like when it comes to the periods, the men feel like since it's the woman who undergoes this process, so it's just for the woman. I will share a little experience. Like, I'm the only girl and I have 2 younger siblings and they're boys. So when I'm around them and I'm on my period, I'll be like, I'll just call his name, Jarek, go and buy me pass. He'll be like, Hish, why are you telling me to get something like that? I say, you'll go. He'll be like, I'm not going. I say, you'll go. And I'll put the money on the table. I say, if you don't go, you will not eat, because my mom was not. I say, if you don't go, you know, it's so he'll be forced to get it. He'll be forced to get it. No, but the boys, at that point, you have to push them, because if it tomorrow they're going to be fathers, are going to be husbands. So if you do not push them now, they'll feel like no, they do not have to do it. Sometimes my dad goes out and he knows I'm a period. He gets me pads. It's not because he has to, but he knows he has. It's not because he's forced to, but he knows he has to
do that.
Because it's normal for him to get it. Like, I cannot be having cramps and I'm struggling. I don't have a pad in the house. Then I'll still be struggling to go get them in the stores when I have boys around. So I'm like, you have to get it. So they know it's something that they have to. It's also their responsibility. So sometimes we have to push them to the wall in order for them to know that no, I have to take charge of this particular activity.
Darlene, I just wish to add, you know, with NGOs, most times when we have to do or deal with protection cases, it's always the female that they push in front. So I think if the men can be put in this responsibility, they can actually break that barrier.
That's right.
Like, okay, we are going, maybe we have GBV survivors, and we have, sometimes they say no, if it's the man who did it. So if the lady sees the man, the lady might not feel comfortable. To a greater extent, they still have a role to play. Because a man did it doesn't mean every man did it.
That's very right. And Semsia, so how can men join women throughout this period of menstrual hygiene?
Yeah, they insisted on the aspect of the father and the brothers, and I'm going to insist on the aspect of the husband.
Okay.
You know, during menstruation, we go through a lot. We have a lot of signs. We have a lot of symptoms. You see a lady crying, her stomach.
Some people are just moody.
And then it creates problem into the marital home. So I would like this husband to understand their wives. It's not easy. We are going through a lot. It is not easy. You hear a man saying she's flowing but under, does it affect her hand? No, it affects her body, everything. So please, men should be very, very understanding. And again, who said cooking is just the responsibility of a woman? It is not just the responsibility of a woman, it's also a responsibility of a man. It is your stomach, you're also hungry. So if you feel like your wife is feeling weak and then she cannot cook because of her menstruation, I think you should assist her. You should help her in 1 or 2 things in the house, not only her doing everything. all that responsibility is not just for a woman. Please, men, you guys have to assist women. It is really aching. I swear, it is really aching. Men have to understand we are going through a lot. I know some people will be like, just small stomach bite.
Yeah.
Because I've seen something online. They put this thing currents on a man's stomach, and then they tell him to taste the pain of menstruation and also labor.
Some men
you
cannot,
see them
cannot
screaming.
stand
They cannot
it.
stand it. Like, women are really strong. And
Just imagine a woman going through that for
I'm
5
telling you.
times, 4 times, and
12 times a month, sometimes even more than when you're stressed up. Please,
Yeah, some
men
people
really
feel
have
more.
to
Aside
support
the
women.
menstrual cramps and all of that, most times men always say that's small things so the meal say will die the next minute. I used to see my dad sometimes. My mom is not feeling well, like hold on small no tired no, but my father just comes with a headache. The whole world knows my father is sick. And so when he does it, he would ask my mom, "Mommy, how do you used to do it?" I say, "Okay, you know,
so you understand.
Just back and watch.
So we need supportive brothers, we need supportive fathers, we need supportive husbands too. Once sometimes women just need that support, just that psychological support. That's what every woman needs, because truth be told, some women every month when that day is approaching, they are already dead inside, because some people go through that pain like forever. I have someone who is 30 plus and she still has menstrual pain, like she just started menstruating. So I felt like it was, first of all, we all thought it was a health concern, but it is just her system. And if she's stressed, she flows a lot. So she has a very complicated system. Everyone is not the same for everybody, so you should also mind the way you want to talk to women during around that period, because some of them are very hostile, some of them are very hostile. They just bash at you, so you might want to just cajole a woman during that period and talk to her very nicely. We're already running out of time, and in the few minutes we have left, maybe we want to there's a particular message each of us have to convey to a woman out there, to a girl, to a boy, so whoever is watching us out there pertaining to menstrual hygiene. We have, I think, like a few seconds each to go. Any message you want to tell someone out there watching today concerning menstrual hygiene and creating a period friendly world today, tomorrow, for every woman out there?
So I'm just going to start by giving a little word to the ladies concerning, like, prior to your periods. It's something I've experimented. Like we say, Thomas, you want to see before you believe. So prior to your periods, I'll advise us to really avoid sweet things, because this causes a lot. It contributes a lot to the cramps. Like, let me say, this month I can try avoiding sweet things for like 1 week before my period, and I realize that the cramps I have might not even come. But the next month I'll be like, what is the thing? It's not just for 2 days. And I'll consume a lot of sweet things. Like, even during the period, I'm still consuming sweet things, and I realize that the cramps are really heavy. So sometimes we should just monitor our rate of sugar prior to that period in order for us to ease the cramps.
Okay, thank you very much. And
the message I have for the girls out here, many girls believe in this misconception: during swimming, your menstruation stops. Or you're not supposed to go to the kitchen because you're menstruating, or you're not supposed to go to place of worships or gatherings. But to all the ladies, let's all feel free to talk openly. Let's talk to others, like elders. We get experience from our elders. Like they say, what an elder sees while sitting, if you stand on the tallest tree, you cannot see. So that's just the little message I have for the girls out there.
okay, thank you very
I just want to
much.
encourage every girl out there, man, girl, husband, wife, none left behind. When you find a woman going through this period, no, it's normal. She has a right to her dignity, honor, as every other human being is. So all the stigmas, don't go out when you're menstruating. Husband, I don't eat your food because you're menstruating.
I
and all
cannot
of
clean
that.
the house.
I cannot clean and the children. We get to educate ourselves every day, learn new things, and try to support the women when they are going through this psychologically.
Thank you very much. And same here too.
Okay, what I will shortly say is that I want to encourage women to understand that menstruation is a normal something in their life. It is very normal for them, and then they have to be really proud of it. And then they also have to understand that menstrual hygiene is also important for them, because there are a lot of consequences when you don't practice menstrual hygiene. So to avoid all of that, you have to you are forced to practice menstrual
Of
hygiene.
course,
Yeah.
that's very right. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for joining us on set today. Thank you, Shalom Bright. Thank you, Betsila Semsiatu. And of course, our beautiful Ernestine. Thank you all so much for coming on set for us to discuss on ways in which we could break the stigma and create a period-friendly world for our ladies, for our women, and our girls out there. Remember, menstruation is a natural way of life and it is a human rights issue. So you should not stigmatize anybody going through menstruation or the incidents around menstrual hygiene. We all can join together to create a period-friendly world by just talking to one another and offering help when need be. No need to bring up stigma around menstruation because nobody wants to be seen being stained, or nobody wants to get infected during their period of menstruation. But then some people face some very difficult circumstances that lead to these issues. So let's together help our women and girls out there to be able to practice more or better hygienic ways in which they could handle their menstrual period every month, or twice every month for some women, and once every month for other women. So let's together fight menstrual hygiene and help women out there to be the best version of themselves, feeling free to experience their menstruation with dignity and confidence. Thank you all very much for watching the program, and stay tuned to Divine Mercy Radio Television for more interesting programs. I've been Magdalene Wondo. See you next week.